Welcome to the channel. Tonight's episode: Tales of the Wandering Soldier. The sun beat down on the endless dunes of the Arabian desert. The year was 1990, and the Gulf War had raged for 6 months. Colonel Ibrahim, veteran of the war, led his unit deep into the heart of the desert in search of the enemy. 4 days they had been without water, their lips and eyes parched and cracked. Their bodies, tough and weathered like the sand that whipped around them, were on the verge of collapse. "We were so thirsty," Colonel Ibrahim recalled, his voice raspy with fatigue, "that we would have killed for a single drop of water." Suddenly, through the shimmering heat haze, a miracle appeared. An oasis shimmering like a jewel in the rough terrain. A small group of soldiers, stumbling toward it, fell to their knees before reaching it, tears streaming down their faces as they drank deeply from the cool water. Soon, the entire company had gathered around the oasis, their spirits lifted by the unexpected find. But the colonel noticed something peculiar. The oasis wasn't on any of their maps, and as quickly as it had appeared, it vanished, leaving behind a vast expanse of arid wasteland once more. Confused and thirsty, the soldiers pushed on, determined to find the oasis again. But the sun began to set, casting long shadows that danced like phantoms across the dunes. The temperature dropped dramatically, and a strong wind picked up, whipping sand into tiny cutting blades that stung their skin. Just when their hope was almost extinguished, the oasis reappeared, now surrounded by a thick mist that swirled and eddied around its base. Hesitantly, the soldiers approached, their weapons raised, ready to defend themselves against whatever lay before them. As they neared the oasis, they saw figures moving within the mist, their forms indistinct and otherworldly. Startled, the soldiers opened fire, their bullets shattering the silence of the desert night. The figures fell to the ground, then rose again, seemingly unaffected by the gunfire. More figures emerged from the mist, their numbers growing until they surrounded the soldiers. In the flickering light of their torches, the soldiers saw that they were men, dressed in robes and turbans, their faces painted with intricate patterns. They carried spears and swords, their eyes gleaming with a fierce light. One of the men stepped forward, his gaze intense. "Who are you?" the soldier called out, his voice echoing in the vast emptiness. "We are the guardians of this oasis," the man replied, his voice deep and resonant. "And you have trespassed in our domain." The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. They had stumbled upon a hidden world, a secret haven known only to a few. The leader of the Guardians beckoned to his companions, and they parted, forming a path to the oasis. With a final nod, the soldiers were allowed to enter the sanctuary. Inside, they found a lush garden, a paradise amidst the barren desert. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze, their fronds rustling like whispers. Flowers of every color imaginable bloomed, their petals soft and yielding to the touch. And at the center of it all was a pool of crystal clear water, its surface reflecting the starlight like 1,000 tiny diamonds. The soldiers, exhausted and thirsty, made their way to the pool. As they drank deeply, the leader of the Guardians approached them. "You have violated our laws by bringing your weapons into the sanctuary," he said, his voice echoing with power. "As punishment, you will stay here until you can earn our trust." The soldiers, humbled and ashamed, agreed. They spent the next several days in the oasis, working side by side with the Guardians. They learned the ways of the desert, how to navigate its treacherous paths, and survive its scorching heat. Slowly, the soldiers began to earn the trust of the Guardians, and they shared stories of their world beyond the oasis. The soldiers learned of the Guardians' ancient traditions and their connection to the land. Finally, the day came when the Guardians deemed the soldiers worthy. They were given water and food and then led to the edge of the oasis. As the soldiers prepared to leave, the leader of the Guardians handed the colonel a small vial filled with a blue liquid. "This is the water of life," he said. "It will keep you alive for 3 days without water." The soldiers thanked the Guardians and, carrying their precious water with them, turned and walked away from the oasis. As they disappeared into the swirling mist, the oasis vanished, leaving behind nothing but sand and the faint sound of wind. Colonel Ibrahim still carries the vial of blue liquid, a reminder of the time his unit stumbled upon a hidden oasis in the heart of the Arabian desert, and to this day, he wonders if it was a mirage or a secret sanctuary that saved his life. That concludes tonight's episode. Did the soldiers stumble upon a mirage or a hidden oasis guarded by mysterious beings? You decide in the comments. And remember, stay tuned for more exciting tales. Thank you for watching.